Shut up and sit down.
It's where the big boys play. Sicw.
All right, everybody, welcome to Square Read Podcast. Episode, well, in the hundreds. I don't know. I lost count.
Oh, I think it's
Well, I
114.
mean, we didn't do one last week because I was out of town. So I'm still out of town, but I came back for one thing. Then I'm going to leave again right up.
Nice.
How you guys doing?
Not too bad.
Pretty good.
I want to say we're at 114.
We're in 100 and something. 2 years worth.
I know it. Ain't that crazy?
Yeah, it looks like we all aged
yeah.
10 years in this group.
This is 114, our 114th episode. You know what's crazy is Sunday, after the Sicw All-Star show, Rick Ruby and Z-Miz, they have their podcast, and they were doing their 200th episode, and they had some special guests pop on, and one of them was Herb, and the other one was me, and then there was another person, and that was probably the worst thing they could have done, because they put me and Herb on a podcast together, and we ended up taking over, and their podcast starts at 9. They finally booted me and Herb off about 11:30, and they hadn't talked about anything that they wanted to talk about. Kind of like how I got like a rundown of what we're going to talk about tonight. They do the same thing where they have a rundown where they talk about the pay-per-views and Raw and AEW and TNA. Well, eventually they had to say, all right, well, we're going to get to our regular scheduled content that we normally do. So thank you guys for popping on. But I just thought, because Herb can talk wrestling all night long.
Well, the last time you and Herb were on, it was 4 hours, yeah?
Right. So, I mean, it's just kind of crazy. But since we already started talking about Sicw and Herb, I'll just throw it out there. Nothing really. Well, I guess we did have something new. This past Saturday, we wrestled at the Belleville Square, actually second and main, which was really cool. Me and Bobby both grew up in Belleville, so it's kind of cool that they were able to block off the square for some wrestling, and to be one of the performers on it was really cool. It wasn't like a big production or a big card or anything. There was only 4 matches on it. I had Attila Khan in the main event. Bobby warmed us up. It was Bobby
and Richard Shaw
versus Shaw, and then Jason Breed versus Joey, which I thought was kind of a cool match because you really don't see two baby faces going after each other.
Yeah, but I mean, we missed the salient point here. Bobby was your guys' fluffer. He warmed you guys.
Yeah, he had to warm up the crowd for us. And then the first match was Curtis Wilde versus Waco. So kind of know how that one went. Curtis Wilde got the pin over Waco on that with the WTF. Joey and Jason Breed.
With that guy, I don't remember the last time Waco won a match.
When I was tagging with him, we would win pretty consistently. And even when we were in singles, Waco would win pretty consistently. But, since I left the group, Waco's been kind of going downhill there, here lately. So
was he miss his buddy coming up from Texas just to lose? That's kind of harsh on the pocketbook.
Well, yeah, Jason Breed versus Joey went to I think it was a 10-minute draw, which is kind of cool. Like I said, it's very rare you get two baby faces going at competition. So I'm a Richard Shaw, beat you, right?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. I guess that's why you still have the belt.
It wasn't a title match anyway, but no, I mean, he did some, dirty choking things here and there. I about caved his chest in. One fan told me afterwards they thought I was going to make him have a baby or have that baby.
Oh my God.
Then tossed him around a little bit, locked in the Scorpion Deathlock, and got him to submit.
So I was actually our dressing room area was actually in a building. Used to be a comic shop, but it's a 2-floor. So the heels were on one floor, we were on the other floor, and I was actually able to sneak a peek and watch Bobby, and it was pretty funny because they were outside wrestling, not in the ring, they were on the outside, and you took him to like every corner of the ring basically and gave him a chop, and he doesn't take them well, I'll tell you that. He when you hit him and it's a good one, he does this high pitched scream, man, and he was doing a lot of it. Bobby really chopped the shit out of him. So
Well, that's the goal, to get the wind out of him. That way I can take advantage.
We'll just call it labor pains.
man, that's probably why he had the baby. Now, mine and Attila's match, we probably scared a few people in the audience because it was turned into a little bloodbath there. Busted Attila open. Um, he attacked me before the bell even rang, and I was able to pitch him outside the ring, and we took a little chair action to each other, and I posted him on the ring post and busted him open. So of course, the rest of the match was just him bleeding all over the place, and there was a lot of little kids and kids, that normally don't go to our show, and there's a lot of people that normally doesn't go to our show. It's just that they had
Yeah, but come on, kids at 3 years old are seeing more blood on network TV than in the freaking matches. So
well, one thing that surprised me is after the match, I kind of hang out in the crowd, with the crowd, and there was a lot of people. And I tell you, when I say my hands were bloody from just beating on them. And even the adults was still, wanting to shake my hand and everything. And I would look down and show them my hand was in blood, and they were like, oh, yeah, like it didn't even phase them, on some of them. But you know how it is when things
that's
get a little
very
rough,
hygienic.
physical. Yeah, yeah. Especially since we just had a whole pandemic over
It wasn't blood, though.
transferring stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was nonetheless, it was a great show. It was for a great cause. It was for the 5 officers in Fairview Heights that were shot at. The one officer that was shot in her face. I think the other guy took it to the leg or the chest, one of the two. I can't remember, but
Took it to the
all
chest,
the
the vest
proceeds,
off it.
all the proceeds went to them, and it was kind of unheard of. One city doing a benefit for another city. So even I think it was one of the news shows talked about it, and they even said that was kind of strange but very cool for one city to do that for another one. So glad that we took part of it. Glad some money was raised for them. And I tell you, from the looks of it, because they had food trucks and the bars were open and they stayed open. I don't know if they stayed open later, but they were announcing it until like 1 o'clock and stuff. The people were having a good time.
I can tell you, I spent money on the food truck, and that taco truck was good.
Yeah, Jordan did the same. He bought some tacos too, but I did not sample because I do not eat before I wrestle. So,
You know me, I've had a long history of eating before I wrestle.
man, I see
Since
this guy
day
eat
one.
bowls of chili before he wrestles, and I don't see how he can do it. But more
Which
I
one is the one
figure
that-
worst case scenario, that's my opponent's problem.
I was gonna say, what wrestler was it that shat all over his opponent in WWF?
Andre the Giant.
Yeah, Andre. Yeah.
well, they all will come clean at some point and say that they've had accidents. Hulk Hogan talks about it. CM Punk talked about it. And sometimes it happens when they're overseas and they're eating the food and drinking the water, and they're not acclimated to the food and water over there, and then shit happens.
I can attest to that from going on cruises and whatnot. Like your food's not used to that kind of stomach or that kind of food, like it hits your stomach hard. However, let's also think about the 80s and how them wrestlers partied nonstop. We've all had them beer shits.
That's true. That's true. But I, for one, can say that that's never happened to me because I do not eat before I wrestle. Matter of fact, I probably don't even eat lunch. Like if I were to eat something on a wrestling day, it'll have to be as soon as I wake up, and it'd be breakfast, and that way I know it's all cleared out of my system. And I still have when you get dressed and everything, and that's when you have to take a leak. I have that problem. And
I have
like,
on more
that's
than
always
one occasion, I believe actually last month before the Collinsville show, go to the Chinese buffet before the wrestling show.
unbelievable.
That's okay. You were hungry 5 minutes later, so it's all right.
Yeah, I like to roll the dice.
Yeah, I can see that.
When we're at South Broadway, I go down and get like 2 of them cheeseburgers every time and warm up with those.
I don't even eat for the whole day when you guys wrestle, just so I can stay with the cameras and make sure the shots are right.
You
Speaking
get
of
the
Broadway,
catheter, it's fine.
there you go. You can just have that and attach the bag to your leg or something, and you'll be just.
I'm sure Destiny would love that, looking over and seeing me standing up with a catheter running down. Oh yeah.
But speaking of Broadway, I just a little bit ago was going through one of my cabinets, and I found an old poster for Broadway for MMWA, and it was me versus Johnny Courageous in the match. I was kind of hoping that your name would have been on it too, and I was going to show it, but since it was just mine, I didn't bring it out and keep it out. But I thought it was very cool. The poster was from like 2006. So very long time ago, 19 years ago. But cool memories. Let's see here.
I have to grab something on the back.
Okay. So
And now, who does have the stomach issues?
right. Let's see here. There was the pay-per-view over the weekend on Saturday. WWE had what was it? The Clash of the Champions, was it called? I'm doubting myself, so I have to look it up.
Night of Champions?
Night of Champions. Man, Clash of the Champions. Whew, that's almost like a WCW pay-per-view.
That's old NWA, WCW.
Right, right. So that also happened on Saturday, WWE's pay-per-view. I don't know. I didn't really care for it. I did like the last match. Was of course John Cena versus CM Punk championship. They had a very good match. I mean, they were countering each other, going hold to hold. They did, and I figure this is what's going to happen from here on out with John Cena's matches. They threw everyone at it. So towards the end of the match, Seth Rollins come out. Of course, he's the Money in the Bank winner, so he was flashing the briefcase. But he also brought out Braun and Bronson to come down there, of course, with Paul. So they, interfered. But then Penta came down to help. And then also Sami Zayn came out and helped. They all basically fought off each other, and it got down. Oh, what I really liked about it was at one part in the match before Seth Rollins and all of them came down, they bumped the ref. Ref rolled out, and then all this happened. And then when it came back down to where it was just going to be John Cena and CM Punk, another ref was coming, and he was running. It was Little Nate. He was running down to the ring, and just as he was about to do his trademark slide into the ring, John Cena actually, checked him, and he like flew into the staircase. So he like body checked him, and he just went flying into the staircase. But I think that's how a lot of his matches are going to be for right now until it gets closer to his time, because when they wrestle against the same people, Randy Orton, CM Punk, Seth Rollins is probably going to be one of the next ones. Yeah, when you stick to the same people, you have to have these screwball finishes to make sure Cena still got the belt, because he's got, we're in July now, so he's got what,
Till
technically
December.
6 more months
December.
before he's gonna either take the belt home with him or drop it to someone. But it was a very cool ending to the pay-per-view, and which kind of brings me to Raw last night. I actually liked Raw, and it's seldom do I say this on this podcast, but Raw, to me, the matches on Raw, even though 2.5 hour time frame, there was only 4 matches, which is unbelievable to me that there was only 4 in a 2.5 hour span. That's our whole time slot, and we run about 9 to 10 matches in that time slot with a little bit of interviewing or speaking or some sort of microphone talking. And but they did have a lot of that, a lot of backstage segments, and they had Gunther come out at one point and talk about how he's going to beat the crap out of Bill Goldberg. And then Seth Rollins came out again, and not necessarily challenge Gunther, but pretty much say that he could be next. Not to steal Goldberg's line from him, but because Seth says he's not sure which belt he's going after, so it could be Gunther, it could be Cena. No one knows. But just to start off the show, the first match was New Day versus Judgment Day, which was Finn Balor and JD McDonough. And I tell you, I haven't been really like up on New Day. Matter of fact, I haven't been really too up on Judgment Day. And what I'm saying is their matches have been subpar. But last night's match, I think that was one of the best matches that I've seen out of those 4 guys. I mean, it was really back and forth. And the moves that JD McDonough was doing was cool, because I don't know, ever since that match that he got hurt and blew his lung and everything, and had to come back 5 months down the road. Actually, I think it was less than that. I think he came back 4 months.
I don't think he had that much time.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if it's because I have more respect for him, because he was hurt that night, halfway through the match, and still was able to finish the match, which is kind of unbelievable, especially with like one lung. But they had a hell of a match last night. But Judgment Day did win, so Finn Balor and JD are the new tag champions of Raw. And that could be why it was such a good match, is because it's a title change. It seems like if it wasn't a title change, it would have been another screwball finish or another, way to interrupt the match and get them a fucked up ending. But very good
Well,
match.
so do you think the Looney Tunes finishes are going to be common for WWE for the rest until they sell out?
I don't know, because last night's show, I mean, it was only 4 matches, but each match was really good. Even I'll jump ahead to Bailey versus Lyra. Was it?
Yeah, I thought
Lyra?
on that one.
Yeah, that match was actually really good too. I didn't like the finish of the match, but it wasn't. All right, so it was kind of a screwball finish, because they both were doing pins and then kicking out, and the other one get a pin on them and kick out, and then they both rolled each other up. And yes, all 4 shoulders are on the mat, so the ref did count the 3 and then called it no one won. That basically, man, how did she word it? She worded it like no contest. But to me, it should never got to that, because what match ends in no contest when all 4 shoulders are on the mat? You think they would not count and just keep going until someone actually had the pin, legitimately had the pin. So that was probably the only thing that was a little messed up on Raw. But the match itself was really good. And it was for the number one contendership for Becky Lynch, who is now the new Intercontinental Women's Champion. So I guess it's going to pretty much will set up a three-way dance, down the road. But very cool match. Rusev and versus Sheamus was the second match. And those two guys, I wasn't Sheamus. I've always been cool to watch him because he is just a big brute, and he gives the punishment as just as much as he takes it. Him and Gunther's matches were freaking off the chain. They just beat the shit out of each other. But that's how Rusev in his match last night was. And now Rusev, yeah, I haven't been like really paying attention to his matches. Once when he was originally in WWE and it was Rusev Day every day of the week, that was a cool little gimmick. And then WWE let him go and he went to AEW, and then AEW really didn't maybe know how to use him, or maybe he didn't care to be used the particular way they wanted. But his
Well, he's not a
AEW
dream match guy, and they can't tell stories, so.
Yeah, so his run in AEW was really crappy, but I'm glad he's back, and he's back to being a heel, which I think he was better at. When he first debuted for WWE, he was a heel from Russia. Well, what, Bulgarian or
Bulgaria.
but he had a manager,
The
and she was from Russia.
Bulgarian root.
Yeah, so, but he played a really good heel, and he went back to his roots. But he's also slimmed down a lot, put muscle back on, so he looks really good. And they just beat the shit out of each other. And literally, it didn't matter who won and who lost because the match was so good. But Rusev did win the match last night. But I highly recommend watching that one because that one was really cool. And then, like I said, there was only 4 matches. So the last match, well, let me go back. We're talking about Gunther coming out and calling out Goldberg. Rollins came out and said, hey, it could be you, it could be Cena, we don't know. And he almost went to go to blows with Gunther when CM Punk showed up. And they tussled around for a little bit. And then Seth Rollins escaped and went through the audience. And then CM Punk left. But when they were going away, they showed Seth Rollins up in the fans in the stands with the fans, and LA Knight was behind him and started beating the crap out of him. So
Did I miss something? Because I thought that was just completely random.
So
They
yeah,
have
you did.
a feud going?
No, it was actually CM Punk and LA Knight that had some verbal communication in the backstage area. And something about like CM Punk was telling LA Knight to get in the back of the line, and LA Knight told CM Punk that he is the line. So I don't know how him and Seth Rollins got involved, but so that's pretty much going to set up those 4 guys, I think. But it almost puts a foreshadowing that Gunther is going to beat Goldberg, because Seth Rollins is pretty much challenging him. So
I sure hope so.
Yeah, he wouldn't challenge him if he didn't have the belt after Goldberg. So, and I gotta say that sometimes when the wrestlers come back out of retirement to have one more match, it doesn't mean they have to win that match. Just because you're going to go, retire after this match doesn't mean you need to win it. And some of the best, like when Stone Cold retired, he went against The Rock. The Rock went over, and then that was his last match. So sometimes it's better for you to pass the torch on to the next generation, or to in that case, Stone Cold and The Rock, they were like rival opponents for the longest time, with mutual respect for each other because they always fought each other. So it was cool that Rock got the pin over Stone Cold.
I don't know if Goldberg has that in him.
Yeah, because
If he's going against Matt Riddle, maybe.
there's been a lot of rumors that he's been training for this last match and has been hurt. He got hurt training himself for the match.
Well,
So,
doesn't Goldberg have fused vertebrae?
I don't think so. I don't think I've heard of Goldberg. I think the only injury that he sustained, and I could be wrong, but I think the only major injury that he's ever had was WCW had this skit where he was, I think it was Hogan maybe that he was chasing, but someone got in a limo and he went to punch the limo, and it was, of course, real glass because they're stupid. And he punched through it and sliced his forearm. Uh, Bad enough that he hit one of the vital veins in the forearm, and literally he couldn't wrestle after that because they had to do surgery, and he was in a cast for a while. But I think that's the major thing he's ever had. I mean, of course, we've all had concussions, so I don't count that as a major thing, even though it probably should be counted as a major thing.
I think he got hurt training for his match with Lesnar as well, going into that one.
Well, and we all know how
Which
his and the Undertaker match went, but that was due to a concussion too. Actually, he had two concussions. He used to do this thing where he beat his head against the door before he went out to the match, and that gave him a concussion. And then he got another concussion going and hitting the corner, um, running into the corner, and he actually hit his head on the freaking ring post. And that gave him a concussion. But that's why his and the Undertaker's match was really shitty. Let's see
Yeah,
here.
that's where I thought. That's where I thought after that he had a fused vertebrae, but he just had stem cell treatment in Turkey is also.
But the last match was Sami Zayn and Penta versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. They made a statement saying that Seth Rollins had left the building and caught a red eye to the next town or something like that to finish his plan. But backstage, I've been really digging the Karrion Kross skits that he's been doing here lately, and he attacked Sami Zayn before the match. He wasn't involved in this match, but he attacked Sami before the match. So Karrion Kross attacked him, but Sami Zayn was still able to tag with Penta versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, and that too was a pretty good match, really good match actually, because you had Penta that still does the little high flying stuff, and then you got Bronson Reed that's like the big badass, and his move is the avalanche off the top rope, which is basically a big splash off the top rope. But
he's high flying too.
Yeah, for a big guy, I mean, that's what I would consider high flying. But Braun Breaker, I love him. Rick Steiner's son. I think he is going to be, champion here pretty soon. And I was listening to another podcast where everyone is kind of thinking that, maybe he could be the one that beats John Cena, at the end. So that way, John Cena gives the rub to the next generation of wrestlers, instead of.
Well, it's got to be a Looney Tunes Daffy Duck match because they just all of a sudden can't get serious in December.
Right. But again, this match was hard hitting, back and forth. It was really good. So last night's Raw, I would rewatch it again, and that's very rare that I rewatch Monday Night Raw because here lately I could care less. But again, if you kind of look at who was wrestling, it's none of the major players. New Day, yes, they've been around for a long time, but they're not like a Seth Rollins, a CM Punk, or a John Cena. Judgment Day, yes, the group's been around for a bit. One of their guys was a champion. Well, two of their guys was a heavyweight champion for once. But again, kind of lackluster. Very popular, but just not a John Cena or CM Punk. Rusev, Sheamus, Bailey, Lyric, is that how you say it?
Lyra,
Lyra,
like
Valor,
curious something.
yeah. Sami Zayn, Penta, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, no like superstars. And I think they carried the Raw. So I think they did a good job. And a few months ago, I was talking about Braun Breaker and how they let him main event a couple Monday Night Raws, and I really enjoyed that because it was something different. It wasn't the same four guys, wrestling on that spot, and I think they did a great job with it as well. Again, I do want to mention that at the end, Braun Breaker and Bronson did win. They did continue to beat the crap out of Sammy and Penta, but Jey Uso came down with a chair and kind of saved the day. And then they were able to do that pop with his song and yeet all over the place, or if that's what you want to call it. But pretty much the whole show was carried with just great talent instead of like superstars, and I think they pulled it off. So, hands down, a really good Monday Night Raw. Yes, Punk and LA Knight. I do want to go into some rumors. It was rumored today that WWE wants Danhausen and the Private Party from AEW. Seems like both their contracts. Private Party is a tag team. Danhausen, he is a gimmick wrestler. He's like a vampire, but a funny vampire. So he's well, I mean, there's no better way to say it than a gimmick wrestler. He's a good guy. Uh, there's wrestling for everyone. I'll just put it like that. So there's wrestlers like Rusev and Sheamus, where it's brutal, but it's wrestling. Then there's high flyers like like a Penta, and then there's like a gimmick wrestler. And throughout all of wrestling, there's always been a couple gimmick wrestlers here and there for
That's
comic
great if
relief.
they were doing house shows again, but they stopped doing house shows. So what's the point of a gimmick wrestler?
Well,
Because he does magic and voodoo.
yeah. So
I'm not a fan.
just like when I was talking about Worlds Collide, when it was AAA versus WWF was it a month ago, and there was Mexican wrestling. It's a lot of gimmick. Like everyone's got a gimmick. Everyone's got a story behind their name or behind their mask. And just that one pay-per-view, the guy that I forgot his name now, but he carries some sort of dragon, not a dragon, but some sort of lizard on his hand. And it's a stuffed lizard, and he uses it throughout the match. And after his match, WWE announced how they're going to pick him up for full time. That they feel that the kids are going to love him, and they can already see them selling the gimmick of the lizard. And the guy wears face makeup instead of a mask, and they see dollar signs. And I think that's what they see with Danhausen too, because he's an independent wrestler. He got signed to AEW, not initially when they started, but down the road he got signed, and he's actually very popular as an independent wrestler. He's got a bunch of figures out. The major bendies have like 5 or 6 major bendies of them. They just announced that they're going to do a big rubber guy version of him too. So he's very popular, and I think the WWE sees dollar signs on him. But the other one that I thought was interesting is Chris Jericho's contract is coming up, and so they're talking about, well, what if Chris Jericho comes back to the WWE? That's, of course, it's not where he started. He's been in just about every promotion, ECW, WCW, WWF, and now AEW. But a lot of people say that he got very popular in the WWF versus the other organizations.
Well, when he came over, became the first undisputed champion. That is when he skyrocketed.
You're right. And
Like he had good feuds over there in WCW, like his with Dean Malenko, and then he was building something really good with Goldberg that got crapped on really good, but he
right,
didn't get a huge push until he came over.
right. And so now there's like, well, what if he comes back? But
I say Cena's tour seems to be all of his old rivalries, so it would be a good one.
that's true. And some people respect, talking about, well, maybe he'll just come back as a commentator or manager, because a lot of people think that his wrestling days are a little over. But Jericho is one of those guys that reinvents himself all the time, so you never know what he would be thinking of or what he can come back to. And how that would hurt AEW, because right from the get-go from AEW, their big thing was having Chris Jericho come on AEW. Signing with AEW, that was like their big first signing, was Chris Jericho. Going through, man, so many people are injured right now. Orange Cassidy's injured for AEW. Eddie Kingston, Jay White, Juice Robertson, Buddy Matthews was just the last one that got injured. WWF, Chad Gable is now injured. And it's a mystery injury too, because they won't announce what is wrong with him, but they're announcing that he's going to have surgery. So I'm not sure what's wrong, but we all, of course, know Liv Morgan's out. Kevin Owens is out. And since Chad Gable is out, I guess the mystery of El Grande Americano, he could be out as well, since everyone thinks he is actually Chad Gable.
He ain't Chad Gable.
I don't know.
All these conspiracy theorists out there.
I've seen some evidence of them both having the same tattoo on the back of the neck or something like that. And then, El Grande was wearing
He
Chad
doesn't even
Gable.
have a tattoo on the back of his neck. It's on his shoulder.
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see how that plays out if El Grande Americano still wrestles for the WWE while Chad Gable is out having a surgery.
All right, Bobby, if it's not Chad, who do you think it is, since Chad's having his period and needs surgery for it? Who do you think's going to show up?
El Grande Americano, the greatest American. That's who's going to show up.
But who is it?
Well, he's not going to unmask unless he loses a match with the mask. We'll never know.
Well, no.
Yeah, but you're sure it's not
could be
Chad, so who do you think
it could be anybody off the street. It could be Hector. I don't know.
I think it's either Chad or Bobby, one of those two.
It's you, Bobby, ain't it?
If I could do that moonsault in half, like I'd be impressed with myself.
I'll tell you what, though, Chad Gable to me reminds me so much of Kurt Angle. I mean, it's not even just because of his movesets, but I think some of the facial expressions and his regular reactions to things, he reminds me so much of Kurt Angle. Plus the moveset, is pretty much similar to Kurt, but which was so funny because a couple years ago they tried to do a Kurt Angle son type of gimmick,
which we saw yesterday on Raw. He was there.
Yeah, he was there. He was in a suit. But it never panned out, and then that guy ended up getting his neck broken as well. And just like Kurt Angle. Yeah, just like Kurt Angle, and never wrestled again. But at least he's got a backstage role.
Yeah, it's a family affair.
Right, there you go. All right.
In 3 minutes, our next segment starts because we didn't do last week, so we have a lot of figures to go through.
Yep, I just want to touch base real quick. SICW's next show is July 12th. Of course, we're going to be in Collinsville, still not in Belleville, won't be in Belleville until I think October. So July 12th, and don't forget, if you bring your ticket stubs to the TV tapings the next day on the 13th in East Carondelet, you'll get in for free. And then also this month, the 17th through the 19th, we're going to be in Iowa for their Hall of Fame. the Dan Gable Lou Thez Hall of Fame, which is a pretty cool deal. Now, I've wrestled there the last couple of years, but this year, all of SICW is coming. So that's kind of cool that the whole crew can come up there and kind of take over, because it's a very cool setting. The first day is just basically meeting up with everyone, and they give out, free food. So there's free beer and free pizzas and stuff, and you just kind of mingle with everyone who's going to be there over the weekend. Second day is, they open the museum to everyone. There's podcasts going on, there's seminars going on, but that night ends with a really cool dinner in the Hall of Fame. So it's like a suit and tie type of affair, and all the people that are nominated this year for going in, give a speech and everything. And I posted last year's JBL inducted Tom Pritchard, and man, he gave the most funniest speech for Tom. Starting off with, if I can remember the line right, uh, when it comes to the Pritchards, he would shoot one and die for the other. And he goes, "Thank God Tom Pritchard is here tonight, because I'll die for Tom Pritchard." Talking about his brother, Bruce Pritchard, who is like the behind the scenes guy in WWE. Yeah, he's right underneath Triple H. But it was some funny stories that gets told. And this year, I think Natalie Neidhart's coming. Who else? Now it's all blanking on me. Oh, Edge is coming. Let's see here. Eric Bischoff, it will be there. Amongst like everyone who's been inducted before, they normally come. So like Sergeant Slaughter was there last year, but he wasn't being awarded or anything. He was just, there to show respects for the new people going in. So that's kind of cool. Then Saturday is they do, like, for new wrestlers, like Tom Pritchard is doing a training camp along with I keep forgetting his name, Bill DeMott. Yeah, I remember it. I was gonna say No Laughing Matter guy. But Bill DeMott, who's also a very well-respected trainer, is going to be there, and they're going to do a seminar for all the guys that want to be professional wrestlers.
He was
So
WWE trainer for a long time too.
for the longest time, well, so was Tom Pritchard too.
Yeah.
But then that night, that's our wrestling show. So we get to do that wrestling show, and to me, having your name attached to a Dan Gable and a Lou Thez, that to me is just the best thing. But yes, toys. 2 weeks of toys. Bobby, have you got a box?
I do not got a box.
Okay. Well, let's start off with what he's posted up here. So today, Power Town has sent out a little flyer because everyone has been dogging Power Town for the longest time because they did the first series, which are great figures. Kerry Von Erich, Bruiser Brody, Stan Hansen, Lou Thez, Vern Gagne, all part of Series 1. And I got the Stan Hansen, I got the Bruiser Brody, I got 2 versions of Kerry Von Erich, great figures. But for Series 2, and they got the TNA rights to do figures, and then they also were starting a Remco line too, like the old school AWA figures, and most of those were supposed to go out by the beginning of this year or like April, and nothing, no word, no one got the toys. Then got pushed back to June. June come, no word, no one got the toys. Now these were all pre-orders, so people have spent thousands of dollars pre-ordering this stuff, and the stuff hasn't been shown up. Well, today they sent out pictures of what people can expect for the toys to look like. And immediately some people just started dogging these pictures, saying these still look like, pre-work stuff, like they're not finished. It's not finished products. and they didn't like how they looked. So then they sent out this letter stating, "Hey, look, the pictures we sent out, that's work in progress. We're not saying in that letter, it does not say when they're going to send them out. They keep saying, hang on, we're going to give our customers the best product, and we won't send out anything other than the best." Well, that just started a whole nother controversy about, so this is still work in product in progress. So that means it's not done. It's not final. We are never going to see these figures. That's what everyone thinks.
Well, they have had plenty of time, and they're still using the Lucky Group, which is still a Chinese manufacturer. So, I mean, I can see their point. I also see Matt's point, but I see their point too.
Yeah. So, I think at least Series 1, I mean, I just picked up a different version of Kerry Von Erich from Series 1. And this is actually the regular version of Kerry Von Erich. Then I had a box that I showed you guys previously of the Platinum Edition that's still mint in box. But this one I got loose, and it's very cool. I really do like it. So hopefully, I just don't know why the Series 1 is so good and they're having so much problems with these other three lines. Yeah, so these are the Remcos, and I got this off of the major Bendy's Facebook group, because these are the pictures that Powertown sent to them. So that's the whole group of the Remcos, and
But
the names.
this says
Yeah.
they're going to be shipped out in July.
Yeah, so that's on those. But the TNA figures that I sent you some pictures of,
Yeah, we'll go through.
and yeah, and then the second series of these guys that I also sent you pictures of, those two are the categories. Yeah, see, this is a version of one of the TNA's figures is going to look like.
But
And
do you like this double segmented torso though?
Well, it gives them a better bend, instead of bending at the hips. It almost makes the figure can do like a crunch action type thing. But so they have no word, or at least they didn't give no word on when these TNA action figures. And there's more than just this one. This is Moose. So this is Series 2 of the Power Pound
I'd
regular ones.
have to ask, was it a Japanese who designed this one?
More
No,
than
they're really
likely.
that big.
Japanese anime, got to get that thing in there.
Yeah, so these are the pictures of the Series 2, and this is the pictures that everyone are bitching about, because that of course that is just all AI type of a picture. It's not a picture of a figure. And the other ones, uh, like I really do like this one. This is I think that's Wahoo McDaniel. Yeah. Which I just really like the headdress for the Indian. But he looks pretty cool. But the next one, if it's JYD, oh no. So even him, he was a much bigger guy in life. He had
They
the
look
big
small.
full belly, and he doesn't look like that. They do got the drawings, the moon belly, the stars, the face paint, but I don't think they captured the size of him. And then the next one, which would be JYD, that doesn't look like JYD at all.
I
Again,
thought it was
he
a
was,
junkyard dog, just kind of
The
smushed.
yeah,
chest doesn't look like a chest.
yeah. The facial features doesn't look like JYD either. And JYD wasn't quite as big as Kamala, but he was a big guy, and clearly he wasn't skinny like that, because that makes him look like any other wrestler, uh, not like a
But
big guy that he was.
it's pretty bad when you look at that and you have no idea who it is. It
Yeah,
only gives you a hint because of the chain.
yeah. I was just gonna say the chain is the one that gives you the hint. So I mean, I doubt I'll be picking up any of these except for the Wahoo McDaniel. Now, this is actually,
There's your favorite wrestler, Bobby.
yeah, so that's Danhausen. That's the, like I said, the major bendies, big rubber guys just announced that they're going to have him available July 7th.
And I just want to point something out. If anybody has seen this guy, he is not ripped. He does not have that muscle.
No, he doesn't. So that would be one thing I would say negative about it. But he's wrestled in Missouri plenty of times. He wrestles at South Broadway, just not for MMWA. I can't remember the name of the group that he wrestles for. Bobby, do you remember who took over South Broadway with MMWA?
Was it Glory Pro?
Glory Pro. That's exactly who it is. So he does wrestle in St. Louis at our old stomping grounds. Matter of fact, he's got a match coming up that he's going to be returning and wrestling there.
I can't help it. Every time you guys talk about that, all I hear is glory hole wrestling. That's all I hear. So I have a ton of jokes that come up. And I know they get mad at you guys if I said them.
Well, so this one is kind of cool. This one is going to be the new Macho Man that's going to be available to order on the 4th. Just like in Matt Cardona is pretty good at using stuff that's not his, but because let me just say that the Slim Jim, you know how you would go to a gas station and the Slim Jims would be in the Macho Man container? Well, those have become very popular to buy, hard to buy, and very expensive to buy. But they announced that they are doing American flag Macho Man this month. So when you go to the gas stations, they'll be in a Macho Man, but dressed up as American flag. And then they announced this one. So he takes advantages of the situations. Like
Great marketing.
yeah,
it's a smart move.
Last week on Monday Night Raw, John Cena was doing a promo and he mentioned Matt Cardona's name. And so, like, I think it was the night before, or no, it was the same night Matt Cardona was on an independent wrestling show, and he gets wind that John Cena called him out. And he's not in the WWE. He is strictly an independent wrestler right now. And so he cut a promo sitting on top of the ring, the top rope, and he calls out John Cena. Just to keep antagonizing the thing. So he takes the best of the situation and makes it his own. And I think that's what they did with this Macho Man. But I'm cool. I'm down for it because this Macho Man looks pretty sweet. And
See, just like you guys on 4th of July weekend, at least on Saturday, should be having a fireworks show on wrestling.
Well,
people would show up. I mean, it's something that should happen. Come on, you guys don't want to come out with a bunch of fountains going off next year? Come on.
I'm gonna come out like Gilbert.
That burn stuff on your beard, but
I'm coming out like Gilbert, holding them sparklers, walking through.
Yeah, go ahead.
While we keep this up, so I want to show off one of the original LJNs. This is the original Macho Man, back in the 80s. And I received this one last week. This is the Macho Man from the Major Bendies. So this is one design, and the picture that we just had up is the new design for the Macho Man. So I think this is pretty cool, and I just wanted to show you like the comparison. This one, he looks a little bit bigger, but this is the size the Macho Man actually was. He wasn't a big boy. He certainly wasn't the size of Hulk Hogan, and this one makes him more look like Hulk Hogan, but I think they got him pretty good. And these figures are just like the same, they're all bendies. They look pretty cool. Of course, this one's
the one in your left hand reminds me more of what I remember Macho Man being.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot more vibrant, loud colors. It's not as faded yet.
Right. And this is kind of a bad example because he is kind of faded on his stuff, but I think they got it down where they just look like this one belongs in that collection, and that's why.
Well, you said that Macho Man's the original, like from your childhood. So 70
Yeah.
years, 40 years.
Ooh, I feel hurt now.
So while he's taking a drink, I do got something based off of this card. I
Oh,
had
yeah.
somebody 3D print me this little figure I've been painting. He needs a couple more coats, but I do got that.
That is awesome. That
Let me
is
see.
awesome.
Put the card side by side with that.
Got too many glares.
Move it over.
I
Yeah,
gotta
move it
figure
over.
out the angles.
I think the
That
figure.
is freaking awesome.
I think the figure gave Bobby a bigger stomach and like a double chin type of thing going on there.
Yeah, that's not what Bobby really looks like, but that's garbage pail for you. That thing is awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
What's it?
You
I
know,
put on the back of the card the garbage pail.
Yeah, as the squared ring, that's what we should do. We should have your garbage pail kids with a 3D printed figure in a box, and it just be a squared ring exclusive.
Well, so one of the other wrestlers, I won't name him, but he's the one that's set up a lot of the wrestlers with these garbage pail kids. So you'll probably see a lot of wrestlers probably in the near future selling.
He made his, and then I contacted him, and then I started talking to him about that. I'm like, we need to get a whole Sicw set.
Yeah, I
And so
agree.
then he started reaching out to a lot of people after that.
I just think it would be cool for the fans, even if we do
Yeah.
a version for the squared ring.
Well, that's what I told him. I said, can you imagine like the kids going around talking to each other, like, oh, I got the Big Texan, oh, I got the Bobby D,
and doing the trades and everything else. And
yeah, I just thought it'd be cool with the kids to pass them around.
Definitely.
Well, I think we three should talk about that, doing a squared ring exclusive version with the 3D figure and a custom box and everything.
Yeah, that would
I
be
think
great.
that'd be awesome.
So I do want to point out that I got another LJN. This is back from my childhood. This is B. Brian Blair. You know, when they were the
Which
Killer
was how many years ago?
Only 70.
I can't tell the date. 1987. So I was actually 11 years old, Bobby, when this figure came out. One thing that's
depending
cool,
when it was made, I might have been born. Like what part of 87?
So this is B. Brian Blair, like I said. He is actually the current president of the CAC. But what's important is I have his tag team partner, so now that completes the set of that tag team.
That one's pretty good. Like you could tell from his face that is him.
Oh yeah, that looks exactly like B. Brian Blair. Let me throw this guy in here. Who is this, Nate?
Super Shredder. That'd be
All
Kevin Nash.
Oh my God, you knew.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was going to do a little trivia with you, but you knew. Yeah, so I seen him online, and he had all his stuff and all his like knee pads with the knives and stuff, and I was like, man, that is kind of cool. And with that being Kevin Nash, I was like, yeah, it's part of wrestling, right?
It is.
I picked him up, but if you're in the world of collecting wrestling figures, everyone knows, and everyone's been talking about the last 2 weeks about the set of superstars that are coming that are out, and some of the elites, and everyone's been kind of like on Facebook, when you're part of all this wrestling figure groups, they're all talking, all right, the shipper, which this only comes out at Walmart, which sucks. So you have to go to Walmart for them and try to track them down, because not every Walmart has them. Not every Walmart that has them has displayed them yet. So literally the last maybe 2 weeks, I've been hitting a Walmart, and like every day, and a different Walmart each day. We went to Waterloo, we went to South County, we went to, of course, Belleville, O'Fallon, trying to track down these shippers, because there's like 5 chases, and a chase is when they take the action figure and they just change like the outfit that he's wearing or the face paint, something different from the regular version.
Like this one.
Yes, like the Rick Rude. So, this is the chase with the different pattern on his pants. But this shipper
He said
has
pants. I just want everybody to know he said pants. Because you
pants.
cut out and it sounded like you said something else.
Oh. So I was able to track some down in St. Louis because we went to like a Comic-Con over the weekend, Sunday. And I was able to go stop off at a Walmart. Well, actually, we stopped off at 3 Walmarts in St. Louis. 2 of them were duds. One of them produced, and I was able to get some of the superstars. So this is the new Jake the Snake superstar. There is a chase version where he's wearing white pants instead of like this neon green. So I have yet to get that one, but I'm chasing it
That's a
down.
cool one, but that one's not my favorite.
Well, I really like Jake the Snake. Always liked him, but we had him. I think it was last year we had him, or the year before we had him at the Mac,
The year
and
before.
he was so cool to talk to and deal with, and really cool. Um, no chase on this particular figure, but this is Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I was able to pick him up, and really cool. I got to meet Ricky the Dragon Steamboat before. I think I've told it on the podcast, and maybe Bobby shared his experience with him as well. But we had him in, and he was also a head trainer for the WWE for a while, and he also booked the matches, which is very cool. And he did something that he didn't have to do because he had his own little part in the show to do. But instead of just doing that, he literally watched every single match. And as they came back to the dressing room, he would take you to the side and tell you how he would have made that match better. Like, he pulled me to the side and was talking to me about how I did this move this way, but if I did it the other way, it would look so much better and so more crisp. Or if I added these 2 moves together and get a nice sequence together, that it would make my move sets look a lot better. So he took the time out and talked to everyone. And then at the end of the show, it was also like a debriefing where he stood out in front of us and talked to us about the whole show and what he liked about it and what he was so proud about it. And it was just very cool. So very cool to have his. And then I got the Iron Sheik. He's brand new too. He is really cool. Can't really see it, but his boots are just like Attila's, where they curve up. But always liked what they call him, Sheiky Baby. Very cool figure. Now, this is the regular Muda, but they do make a chase version, and I talked about it on our podcast. That the chase version initially was going for $800 on eBay. This figure right here is $20. Right now, this one, because they're so rare to find, he's already at like $50 or $80 just to find him. But his chase is in black pants, and it was going for 800. But now that some of the shippers are coming out and more people are able to find him, it's gone down. Right now, it's about sitting at $200. You can buy one off of eBay for. And that's the one that I really want. Not that it's because it was $800 at the time, but I think he looks a lot better in black than he does in the red, which the red is pretty cool too with the white paint. He did have a version in the Monday Night Wars. So this is his chase in the Monday Night Wars set. And the reason why it's a chase is the regular figure has the NWO painted on his face. Because when he came down to the ring, he always had the NWO, like the N, the O, oh no, the W and the O. There we go. Just like this. This is how he normally came down to the ring. But his face paint on this picture, on this figure, is totally different. I know it's kind of hard to see with the glare. But this is his chase version of this figure.
A Rorschach painting on his face.
Yeah. So I was kind of glad to get this one. And then one of the main chases out of this whole set is the John Cena figure, and that is this. And this is, they call it "You Can't See Me" because the figure is clear. Now a lot of people are going after this one, and I was able to get two. And the reason why I got two is because I wanted to keep one mint in the box, and then I wanted to see how it was as an action figure. So I bought two of them, two different Walmarts.
One to play with in your bathtub and one to leave in your shower.
Yeah. But this is weird and kind of cool all at the same time. And I say it's weird because he's clear. You know, what kind of action figure is clear?
Terminator 2.
You know, so which was really cool is everyone is after this guy, and I wasn't able to get the Chase Muda in the Superstar line, but I was able to get this one, and you know, he does the "You can't see me," but he's very cool. I never see they did this once before for I can't recall the name of the line, but it was I think last year, and it wasn't like this at all. Like the whole body wasn't clear. The torso with the shirt and the shorts that he wears, those were visible. So they actually, but the rest of his arms, his face, and the rest of his legs were all clear. So this time they just did the whole thing. But it's kind of cool because you can see how it's made and how it goes together and everything. But everything is clear. He's got his necklace that he used to wear all the time, his hat comes with two other faces and two other hands. So you got the 5-digit hand, and you got hands that are making a fist. But you know, they're making a lot of John Cena's, a lot of versions of John Cena's. As a matter of fact, there's a Comic-Con, not really a Comic-Con. What is it? It's kind of like the bigger version of a Comic-Con, but it's coming in a couple months, I think in November, and they already kind of showed off the figure for that one, and he's going to come with versions of all the titles that he won. Of course, now he's 17-time world champion, but that's going to be a Comic-Con exclusive. But besides that, they've got a bunch of different versions of John Cena coming out. And people are picking them up, but this one I think stands out the best. And I'm sure Bobby's youngest son is going to be begging his daddy to buy him one.
We just talked about that one yesterday. He saw it on a TikTok.
Yeah.
All you have to do is tell him Uncle Jim has two of them.
There you go. The shipper for O'Fallon just came out today. The Belleville one came out yesterday, but I don't know about the other ones either. And I know when I picked this one up today, there was more in the shipper. But, you know, since it's a chase, it's going to be less than like all the other figures, like the Drew McIntyres, they got CM Punk, and like two versions of Roman Reigns, but they don't call it a chase. They just got two different versions. But it's very cool. And like I said, I'm going to keep one mint because right now John Cena is doing a whole bunch of Comic-Cons, and he's doing a lot of fan fests that WWE will okay for him to go to. So there's a better chance of getting him to sign one. So I'm definitely going to have him sign the one. Not that this one's not mint. All I did was cut the little pieces of tape at the top. But it's always worth more when it's the original tape on the box. But that's it. That's all I picked up, and that's like 2 weeks worth of stuff here. Do got, I'm still going to try to chase down this Black Muda. And so the new line is Iron Sheik, Zeus, the Great Muda, and Diesel. Not too sure if I'm going to get Zeus. Yes, he's like an iconic 80s wrestler, maybe early 90s. With him doing the movie with Hulk Hogan, No Holds Barred. And I tell you, I watched that a few months ago, and it does not hold up. I don't think really any of Hulk Hogan's movies hold up because they were
Well,
all like,
Super Nanny doesn't hold up,
yeah,
or
Super
Mr. Nanny.
Nanny, Suburban
Mr. Nanny.
Commando, all those they don't hold up at all. But Diesel, I might get. Um, but yeah, and then what other line? So they actually dropped this line and the Muda line all at the same time. So this set was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Jake the Snake Roberts, and Eddie Guerrero. I've got all three of those, but we'll see. I might pick up a Zeus just to have them at least in the background of my figs. But yeah,
Anything, Bobby?
What's that?
Did you get anything?
Did I get anything?
no, I think he just had the garbage pail kid that he was.
Okay. Just stuff I already said.
Yep. But very cool stuff.
I mean, unless you want to count, my son did buy Michael Myers figure.
Now that I know
He
that
bought it for $100, and they're already selling on eBay for $150. So
yeah, now that I know that your son is into stuff, I might be looking for stuff because I do that for the grandkids too. One of them's into Pokemon, so I pick up Pokemon all the time. The other one's into Minions, so I pick up Minions left and right. Matter of fact, the last time I went to his house, he's like, "Come look at my closet," and I went in, looked at his closet. He opened the closet door, just totally full of Minions. No other toys, just Minions. They're all Minions.
Just give him
knows what he wants.
he'll see.
Yeah, he definitely knows what he likes, and I stick with it. So, but before we go, Bobby, you posted again something with Landon tonight on Facebook. Can you talk about it? Because I know it's only a couple more days of the post being live, right?
yeah, it's basically a fundraiser to help pay for him to go to nationals. So he qualified for nationals, which is called Fargo at the high school level. He'll go to North Dakota in about a week. Right now he's in Northern Aurora, Illinois, training, and then he'll go to U of I and train for a little bit, and then they'll drive out there. But it's a fundraiser that helps pay for all the travel, his gear package, food, everything, the tournament fees. You buy a $20 ticket, you get entered in the drawing every day in August. They draw a winner, and that winner gets $100.
Yeah, so you donate $20, you have a chance to win 100. So it's really a good thing, and it helps Landon out.
Yeah, and you're helping out.
Yeah. Is there a dollar amount that he needs to get to?
We have $360 left on it. It started at $1,300.
Okay, and how many more days, or does it go until does it keep going the whole time that he's gone, or does he need to have it before he goes?
We drop him off next Tuesday, so I have to have it all paid off by Monday, I believe.
By this Monday?
So
next Monday?
Yeah. So whatever doesn't get paid off, whatever doesn't get bought, I pay.
Ah, okay. All right, so whoever sees this, Bobby, if you can, or Nate, if you can pull that off of his Facebook, because it's a QR code.
Well, since we shared it the first time when it first started, it's been every single podcast in the description.
Perfect. Yeah, so everyone that watches, Landon is a great kid, and he's been doing wrestling as long as he can, as long as he's been eligible to, and he's doing great. Yeah, because he just placed. Well, he placed second not too long ago in his last one, and then first.
So He did second and third in freestyle in Greco State, and then he went to a regional down in Kentucky and took sixth there.
Yeah. So, if we can help, all the wrestlers out, and is this for high school? Is this still for?
This is high
not.
school.
Yeah. So all the wrestlers in high school need this. So, but
Now,
definitely.
the summer stuff, it's high school age, but it's not through the high school, so you get no support from the schools.
There we go. So we need to support Landon, Bobby's oldest son, and help him, get funding for everything, because he's trying to do good, and he's been doing good, and we should support that, right? But all right, so we'll leave you with that. Just remember, our next show is July 12th. It's just coming up in 2 short weeks, and then the TV is on the 13th. So be awesome to see you guys back in Collinsville. Even though I know it's weird, Collinsville, but it's kind of Caseyville. But it's the fireman's hall is what they call it, right next to the Jack in the Box. So love to see you guys there. Anything else from you, Nate?
That is it.
All right. Anything else from you, Bobby?
Checking our Instagram. Nothing there.
All right. Well, then I'll call it.
I got nothing. I did send you a video today that should get posted.
It was already posted. It's been up for a while.
Yeah. All right. Check out my TikToks, Jim the Big Texan, because I kind of got a great shout out from Cody Rhodes on there. It might be a little fabricated, but still, it came out of Cody Rhodes. My name, the Big Texan. So check that out. Give that a like if you could. But all right, from everyone at Squared Ring Podcasts, we'll see you at the wrestling shows. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you in a couple. Well, we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Adios.
See you.
Bye.